see the all-new Mazda CX-90, now on sale at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
That would be concerning and maybe set a precedent moving forward.
If you have plans to be outside, you might hit a couple of these little passing showers.
A drug bust and a few arrests made. Look at what they hauled in here.
Good morning.
Welcome to it, everybody. Tuesday here in South Louisiana, and for about the last hour, one of the top stories has been the drive. What are we seeing here?
Oh, we're seeing it looks like a wrecker finally taking away this incident that we've been seeing there. Folks headed on LA1 to the bridge into Baton Rouge, dealing with this, trying to figure out a way into Baton Rouge. I believe a tractor trailer kind of overturned, making its way onto that curb there, but finally cleaning it up.
They're starting to get going on it. So a couple wreckers out there right now, Johnny, and so they need as much as they can get, all hands on deck when you're talking about a rig like this, huh?
Yeah, the heavy-duty wreckers, they've got one on each side of the rig. Now we're looking into the sun here, so it's gotten a little bit hazier to see. That is a different 18-wheeler cab. There is the wrecker. We're thinking that when this truck moves right there, we're thinking that's the cab of the overturned 18-wheeler, and then there's the overturned body of the truck, and then there's another wrecker backed up to it. They're in the process of lifting that, and I'm not sure if the original cab's going to be able to pull it off, or if they're going to attach the original cab to the wrecker and pull it off the interstate, or the other cab in front of the wrecker. But it is a major process. Now, it looks worse than it really is. It's really bad for traffic. As you can see, traffic's backed up on the LA1 on-ramp, both on-ramps coming from the north side or the south side of the interstate. But there is not a hazmat situation involved, so no chemicals are leaking and no injuries, serious injuries reported with this. And you're right, it's been up there for a little while, and it looks like it may be a little while longer. Again, it's on the on-ramp, LA1 on-ramp to I-10 eastbound coming from Port Allen into Baton Rouge, and that definitely is affecting our traffic. If you're watching, you might want to, head on down to the Old Bridge. That's wide open all the way down to the Old Bridge. Just go through those stoplights through Port Allen, get on the Old Bridge, and take 110 southbound if you're going to the downtown area. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting still. They were not able to get that queue out of the way, Steve, so they decided to try to leave that far right lane open as much as they can. You can see right behind our anniversary logo, you can start to see a little bit of movement there, but right now, for just a few more minutes, they will have to shut both of those lanes down, and then we'll be dealing with that for a little while longer. Anyway, we're on it, 7:05, 5 after. Meteorologist Dr. Steve Caparata has a hot forecast. Not warm, hot.
Yeah, definitely hot. Hot's going to be the word over the next several days. Live look outside this morning. Some ominous looking clouds, but no rain coming out of these. It's our Sky 9 camera view brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake. Mid to upper 70s for most of us. Baton Rouge 78. Gonzales right now starting out at 76 degrees. I've got temperatures up around 90 by noon, dry through the morning. Not shown here, but the high around 96, and rain chances running less than 20%. Could still be in the low 90s at 6 o'clock this evening. All right, let's talk about rain prospects, futurecasts here, the HRRRs. We advance it through the morning. You see some rain showing up in central Mississippi, a disturbance moving by, but most of the energy staying north of us. Now, could that trigger a storm farther south? It's certainly possible, but best chance is staying to our north. So as that bypasses us, here we are 3 o'clock, heating up into the mid-90s. We pause again at 6 o'clock, still plenty of sunshine, still potentially in the 90s. Another disturbance tonight moving to our north, so you get the idea. It looks like most of the storm potential staying a little bit north of us today. But if we do get a storm or two going, like yesterday, they could be strong. So especially north of the interstates, we've got a 1 out of 5 marginal risk of severe weather posted here in green. We had a number of wind damage reports yesterday between Macomb, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, towards Bogalusa and down to the Mississippi coast. All right, continue to give you a heads up, a first alert to building heat here through the remainder of the week. 96 for a high today and tomorrow, but beginning Thursday into the weekend, and not shown here, but right on into much of next week, looks like an extended run with highs in the upper 90s. And on top of that, when you factor in the humidity, the heat index is going to be a growing concern, topping out around 105 or so the next few days. But by the time we get to Friday and the weekend, that heat index number could be more like 110, well into the danger category. So we're going to have to track that closely. This morning, you can see storms firing north of Dallas, up around the Red River. That That's the feature that'll track into central Mississippi. Most of that energy, though, probably staying a little bit north of us. That is rotating around a dome of high pressure centered over northern Mexico. So we'll continue next couple of days with that pattern where these features are going to probably mostly miss us just to the north, meaning we're not going to see a whole lot of rainfall. So today, rain chances less than 20%, 20% tomorrow, bump them to 30% Thursday, but most of our 10-day outlook showing rain chances 20% or less. And as I talked about beginning Thursday, right on into the latter part of next week, we've got an extended run of highs in the upper 90s, flirting with record highs at times. And notice the mornings as well, just not going to cool off, only dropping down into the upper 70s. Back to you guys.
Steve, needless to say, it is going to be a hot couple of days ahead. Thank you, sir.
All right, let's get you going on these headlines. And actually, today's headlines, there's a lot of stuff grabbing national attention that you're going to want to know about as well. We've been focusing on this, a big event, a big going on today in South Florida. Former President Donald Trump expected in a federal courtroom.
He made his way to Miami yesterday in order to appear before that federal judge today. Of course, this is for the classified documents in his possession that allegedly that Donald Trump has. 37 different indictment counts that he's going to be facing today. The judge there ruling that obviously no cameras, no phones, no audio will be allowed in there. So we're waiting to see what's going to come out of that courtroom as reporters. Of course, Donald Trump, his attorneys, as they all make their way in there today.
Somebody who is not waiting, a police chief there in Miami, saying, we have enough people here ready to go with anything that happens. They're not anticipating anything crazy, but they're saying, look, protest, counter-protest, a few here and there. They are expecting that, but the police chief saying, Miami is ready. We're good to go. Again, the former president expected in federal court later on today.
From Miami to Denver.
Goodness.
Yeah.
What?
So I know it's a juxtaposition here. Last night, the Denver Nuggets winning the NBA championship. Unfortunately, some of those celebrations turning really violent over the last, 12 hours?
Yeah, and so this particular, so the Nuggets wrap up the NBA title. They beat the Miami Heat last night in Game 5. First title for the Nuggets, right? First NBA title. So they wrap that up, and then the celebrations, as they always do, anywhere, regardless of the sport, they kind of spill outside, and you got the town or the city celebrating, and most folks, the 99%, great, fine, right? But then something goes sideways, shots are fired in one of these celebrations a couple hours later. 9 people injured, including, according to authorities, they believe the person who fired the shots. Yeah,
we're keeping our eyes on all things coming out of Denver today. Certainly going to see how this all plays out.
Okay, so that's going on. Then there's this as well. You remember the apartment building in Iowa partially
in
collapsed?
Davenport.
Yeah, so that is beginning to now come down even more.
This on top of all of the pending lawsuits now, right? The city issuing an infraction on the city's building owner, the building owner here, saying, okay, we knew about the violations, you had filed them, multiple people had reported these complaints, and now this is the situation. You're ending up with a situation where, look at this. I mean, you've got to demolish the whole building, and it's a wide piece of land there in Davenport where a lot of people are trying to figure out, well, where am I going to live? There's so many other side effects that come with this.
And the owner now, as you mentioned, in legal trouble. Some of the beginnings of that as this all kind of begins to unfold and come down. We'll stay on the top of that for you as well. And then there's this. Exactly. The I-95, the part of I-95, which is a huge thoroughfare up there. They're talking like 125,000 cars a day. Not for the foreseeable future.
Remember that bridge that collapsed over the weekend because a tanker had run into it, hit that, and then it had caused the fire, and this is what they're dealing with now. So obviously a major thoroughfare. We're talking about a major metropolitan city, and in the last 24 hours, officials actually found a body in the rubble there. So they're working to identify the victim in that scenario, but this is still creating a mess for everyday people who drive in and around Pennsylvania.
And they're talking months.
Yes, and so Pete Buttigieg is actually supposed to visit the site later on today. The goal is to get some more funding. The emergency declaration has been issued to hopefully free up some of those funds faster to get that repair work done sooner.
Those are just some of the stories you'll be seeing even on some of your local feeds. They kind of make their way in because they are such big headlines. We'll keep you updated. But let's get you back into South Louisiana now, right? Our Callie Hubbard live with the good folks over at the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. Mike Manning right there, President CEO, talking about how important it is for us to help stock these shelves.
And you can look behind him, right? Typically, summer times it is slower because a lot of people are vacationing, doing their own thing. Summer camps are busy, they're occupied. But you know what doesn't stop? Dinner needing to be on the table, lunch, breakfast needing to be on the table. And this is where we all step in to help, partnering with the food bank for a Power Up Summer Food Drive campaign. And the goal is to get these shelves stocked back up so they can keep providing the services they do across 11 different parishes.
They impact so many people in our community, such a wide swath of real estate down here in South Louisiana. And it doesn't take a whole lot to help them do what they need to do. If you have the means, $5, $10, $100, whatever you got, the ability to donate to a group that then could go out and make that dollar spread. This is the place to do it. Make sure the food is on the table for our folks.
Callie has got the links for you to make an online easy donation for you.
Speaking of.
Oh, how about it? Free meals. So if you're thinking, okay, I'm not in a position to donate, but I'm in need of receiving meals. So a number of different organizations, the library, West Baton Rouge Parish, you've got Idea Public Schools, so many different places trying to meet the need to make sure kids are still getting that breakfast and lunch meals every single weekday.
If you are in that place of need, as Liz was talking about, because there are so many different organizations trying to help out, what we've done is put together this list. Our digital team has put this together for you. Jump online through the website of the app, find the location that maybe works best for you, and see if you can't find that help. There are so many out there right now just trying to bridge that gap until kids get back into school.
That's the goal. Resources just waiting for you. And I tell you what, resources are everything we can take, especially when we talk about uniforms for kids. Johnny and Steve, we love partnering with St. Vincent de Paul. They do so much good in our part of the world. Easy way to donate and get involved.
But this is the traffic story right here, guys, and you can see it in one of your traffic cameras right there, Johnny. We're starting to get to the end of this, hopefully.
Yeah, now they've blocked all 3 lanes of I-10 eastbound adjacent to that overturned 18-wheeler, which is at the top of the LA1 on-ramp to 10 eastbound. This is on the Port Allen side of the river, just out of an abundance of caution. You can still see the LA1 traffic squeezing through there, but they're about to block that as well. We have a lot of activity going on, and we'll update you as soon as it's clear with all of our social platforms.
What a mess. And, you know, where those 2 ramps merge on a normal day, that's always a little bit of a dicey spot. So hate to see that. Weather-wise, hot is going to continue to be the word. 96 today, and guys, we're talking about upper 90s beginning Thursday. That could last for a week or more. We're talking about highs in the upper 90s, so dangerous heat on the way, especially for people who have to work outside.
Ooh, please make sure you're packing that ice water, some ice packs with you. Wear that breathable clothing. It is hot. It's summertime.
It is, and as Steve mentioned, we're going to be here for a little while. Tell you what, we'll see you again in 10 minutes on WAFB.